How Ja Morant spends his millions. Over $500,000 watches, $2 million supercars, and $80 million shoes. Ja Morant is currently worth over $80 million. The big question is, what's Ja spending his money on? Well, here's a sneak peek into how Ja spent his millions. Number 1, $500,000 jewelry collection. When you see Ja Morant walk into your store, you just tell your mama you made it. You literally buy almost everything. When basketball players get their first contract, they tend to go a bit crazy. However, Ja Morant took things to a whole different level with a jewelry spending spree. As a rookie, Ja spent around $35,000 on a diamond grill, and since that's something any rookie could easily afford, it was no big deal. However, the Grizzlies star was only warming up for when he'd become a superstar. When he leveled up, his jewelry game leveled up as well. Ja then bought something no one in the NBA could afford or that you could find anywhere in the world. Right here is the first ever flawless hybrid blue diamond grill. And as expected, a lot of people were wowed anytime Ja put this on. Ja spent a total of $85,000 on this grill, and this explains why he'd always take shots anytime he visits any jewelry shop. You can't be spending this whopping amount on grills and not want to post for the world to see. You might be thinking Ja spends a lot on his teeth. Well, he spends more on his necks. Ja Morant is a big lover of necklaces and has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars at Icebox, his favorite jeweler store. Ja currently holds the record for the highest NBA player spender at Icebox, all thanks to his friendship with Icebox and Gunna, who convinced him to buy this expensive piece of jewelry after they ran into each other at the store. Ja Morant has spent over $89K on chains, $240,000 on iced watches, and even got an $11,000 necklace for his sister. It didn't end there. The 2022 NBA's most improved player even bought a custom chain with his jersey number and a custom box to go with it, spending over $500K on jewelry. But even with over $500,000 spent on jewelry, it's nothing besides his car collection. Number 2. $1 million car collection. Ja Morant's first car was something pretty simple that he kept till this day. It was an all-red Mercedes C-Class that cost around $30,000. This car you're looking at is the cheapest car the 2020 Rookie of the Year has in his garage. Right here is the 370 horsepower and 395 torque all-black Dodge Charger Ja Morant bought for about $50K. He even requested that the interior be customized with a red interior and Forgiato rims. When he shared some of the shots of the beast on Instagram, Kevin Durant couldn't resist showing the post some love. This Dodge Charger can go as fast as 175 miles an hour. However, driving in a car this fast comes with its own downside. Ja became addicted to buying cars. You could see him speeding in his Audi, which cost $90K in the morning, and by evening he's up in his Aston Martin Vantage, which costs $142,000. Even at that, Ja wasn't satisfied until he got a Ferrari Roma, the fastest car in his garage. As expected, the fastest car in his garage would cost more. Ja got this Ferrari for about $220K, but the shocking thing is that this wasn't the most expensive car in his garage. In fact, the most expensive car in his garage almost made people think he had died. Out of nowhere, Ja began developing a love for Rolls-Royce, and to show just how much he fell in love with the luxury brand, Ja didn't only buy one but two and had them fully customized. Each cost about $350K, but the day he allowed someone else to drive his Rolls-Royce, he nearly lost his life in the process. Out of nowhere, Ja posted a heartbreaking video of his damaged Rolls-Royce, but he was grateful he wasn't injured. Driving a $90,000 Audi, a $142,000 Aston Martin, a $220,000 Ferrari, and a Rolls-Royce worth $700,000 might be a lot of extravagant spending. But what if I told you that Ja has spent more than that on donations and gifts? Number 3, $2 million worth of donations and gifts. Morant might look like a guy who only cares about making money, but deep down he's got a good heart. He has always had it in mind to pay back the people who helped while he was just starting out. In the same vein, you can help our growing channel by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. When Ja was awarded a contract of $193 million, one of the first things he did was get rollies for all his teammates, which cost him over $200,000. However, his gifting and donations are not restricted to only people he knows. When Morant meets new people, he's always eager to show them some love, and many of these good deeds have made the news, like the time he randomly tipped a waitress $500. There was the one time Morant found out that a young girl attended all his games for years in a quest to get every single player's signature, including Ja's, on a basketball, only for a group of thieves to steal it. He requested her info and surprised her with some expensive gifts. After his next game, he took off his shoes and jersey, signed both of them, and handed them over to her. A game-worn Ja's jersey like that sells for over $20,000. Those presents might be worth a ton, but for his fan, they were beyond priceless. Especially when Ja tweeted that giving them to her was the highlight of his night. So heartwarming. Almost immediately after being drafted, Morant made it a mission to help out the Memphis community. He once handed out free pizzas at a local gas station. In 2019, when Ja heard that families were struggling all over Memphis, he promised to make a massive change to the community. A day before his 20th birthday, Ja solicited funds from his fans to donate to the Boys and Girls Club to help struggling kids, adding that he would match up their donations up to $10,000. But this was just his way of giving back to the community. Not long after the donation, he bought hundreds of coats and blessed an entire school with $100 gift cards and backpacks. He also felt everyone in the community deserves an opportunity to play basketball and led a court refurbishing project with Coca-Cola, rebuilding and fixing dozens of basketball courts, with each costing at least $15,000. Number 4. $3 million mansion, 13,000 square feet, 7 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, a game room, a room dedicated to signed player-worn jerseys, and a beautiful view of a nearby lake. Ja Morant's mansion is everything you want in a house. As you'd expect in any dunker's home, Ja has a basketball court, a movie theater, and a pool where he and his guys chill. He got the house in East Tennessee just shortly after he inked a 5-year, $193 million contract extension with the Grizzlies. And the best thing is that the next house right next to his house is his parents'. He got the house for around $3 million. If you can't find Ja in his $3 million mansion, he's probably in the air flexing. Number 5. $13 million G12 private jet. Ja Morant's biggest purchase is a Phenom 300 G12. The private jet can accommodate 9 passengers and is a perfect place for the NBA star to count his millions. The jet cost him over $13 million. I believe by now you have a better idea of how Ja Morant spent his millions. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and tell us what you think about how Ja Morant spends his money.